great, make no mistake. It's a shake and bake, gonna slash through the paint. It's a alley-oop from 40 feet.
What's up, Ramley? You are now in the kitchen with Chef Nixon for all your fixings for the latest and greatest of VCU men's basketball. So, VCU had a game last night, going against St. Bonnie's at home. How'd it go? Let's get into it. All right. So St. Bonaventure, have you, entered this game with a record of 10 and 11. They have literally been the definition of being on a roller coaster. Seriously, win two, lose two, win two, lose two. So this is the time they're supposed to win, right? However, I don't foresee that happening, right? Now, St. Bonaventure, if you remember from last year, of course, they had a lot of different talent. They were returning 5 starters. They had a lot of experience, a lot of talent, and now they either went on to graduate or transferred to different schools. So they're basically starting anew outside of the coach. And, you know, they're led by Daryl Banks III, who is a St. Peter's transfer, who had a really good outing last year in the tournament, and I believe that's probably how he picked up this scholarship. One of the reasons he picked up the scholarship, he can really fill it up. Had 27 points in a tournament game. But St. Bonaventure is known to be a tough team. Like I said, well coached, and they're not going to come into the Stewart Siegel Center and lay down. They want to win this game. And as far as the rankings, I think they're pretty much going to be where they are. They can probably creep themselves up into the top 8, but I don't foresee St. Bonaventure threatening to get to the top 4 seeds of this tournament, or the A10 tournament, I should say. So let's go on to VCU. VCU enters this game cruising on a 6-game win streak. All cylinders have been clicking. The offense is matching the defense. At this point in time, number 1 in the A10, only being trailed closely by St. Louis, in which they have the opportunity to play this upcoming Friday. So that kind of makes this game a trap game. A trap game. For those who don't know what that means, a trap game means it's a team you're playing isn't really up to your competition level, and you're really focusing on the game after that. Well, in this case would be 2 games after that, going against St. Louis, who is the biggest threat to you in this conference, along with Dayton. So basically, a trap game is when you're thinking too far ahead. Now VCU is favored to win this game at home against St. Bonaventure, but this is the A10. This is conference play, and anything can happen. So let's try to get into the game. First and foremost, like I said, St. Bonaventure did not come to lay down. They played tough, and I think they did a really good job preparing for us. Even though I think that we had a really good start, however, we couldn't string together our offense that we kind of became accustomed to. We couldn't really string that together in the first half. Now, granted, I still believe we had a really good half. I think we held St. Bonaventure to, I believe, 15 points, was it, at halftime? And yeah, 16 points. At the end of the first half, they had 18 points. 18 to 23. And I thought we played pretty decent. We just couldn't get the ball to go. But I think, again, we just had untimely turnovers. I felt like St. Bonaventure did a really good job of doubling Brandon Johns on the post. And granted, I think he did a good job passing out of the post, but the threat of doubling, I felt rushed his offense. And you've heard me plenty of times compliment Brandon Johns on his ability to be patient in the post. But with the threat of the double, I think that he found himself panicking sometimes, and he wasn't able to get his feet under him, and the shots just weren't as balanced as he is used to taking. Along with that, we have an ugly head of our defensive discipline, or lack thereof, popping up again. And it was one of these things where I felt as if we didn't read the scouting report the way we should have. I felt that we didn't lock in the way that we should have. Because don't get me wrong, I think St Bonaventure did a really good job of hanging in there and fighting. But I also think that we did not come out as focused and as disciplined and as hungry as we needed to. And these are the spoils of winning, right? It's like, let's look at it. If we were to put this into a game context, if you go into half and you're up 30 at half, it's only human nature to relax a little bit, when you're up by so much. And with VCU, they had so much success. They're number one in the conference. They've been smacking teams, really, so I can understand them kind of relaxing. But I also warned against that. I warned against it because things like this happened in the past. I've been there. I've been on the side of it. You know what I mean? So I understand. It's hard. It's hard to remain focused. That's the challenge of it. But in the first half, I think we did pretty good. But our lack of focus, we should have had a bigger lead. I also thought when we get back to our discipline and our lack thereof of that on the defensive end, St. Bonaventure's, they have what's the guy's name for? His name? Chad Venning, sophomore, 6'10", 270. 6'10", 270. When I say that to you, what do you think? Do you think that he's a high flyer? Probably not, right? But yet, he's a starter, D1. What kind of game do you think he has? A bruiser's type physical game. It's almost typical, expected. But what do? Numerous times, we tried to get around him too late. That's a big body. You got to do your work early. You can't allow him to get deep. When you're guarding a offensive threat on the post, and especially for when you're guarding, you get switched on to a big. You have to fight so hard for that big not to get deep position. And when I mean deep position is like closer to the basket, closer to the block. What you want to do is you want to fight around so you confront and you have immediate help side, but you got to do your work early. Or you want to fight him so much that he ends up catching the ball closer to the three-point line than the block. And then once you do that, especially when you're a big guarding someone like that, understand that he is not going to try to jump over you. He's not. Big dude, 6'10", with no weight. Look at Joker. Look at all your typical bigs who outside of like your Shaqs. He's an anomaly. But all the bigs, you go back to the Drexel times. You go back to what's my guy's name from Davidson last year? Couldn't jump over a phone book. All these guys, what they're trying to do is get angles. They're only trying to get angles to the basket because they can't jump over you. So as a defender, You want to make it hard for them to catch. You want to push it farther out. And then, if they do happen to catch it, you just want to wall up, be as big as you can. Put your chest, bump them with the chest. Hands high. Don't come down. Straight up. Keep your verticality. And you want to force them to score over you. But what did we do? We're trying to get blocks. So what do? We jump on a pump fake and give him angles to score the basketball. Lack of discipline. Lack of discipline. There's no other way to describe that but lack of discipline. And we're going to touch on it a little bit later, but lack of discipline pretty much cost us the game. And that's not a one-person thing. It was just that's the one. This one particular one that shows up. You know what I mean? So towards the end of that first half, I thought that we were making some strides. We were up 7, and unfortunately, we forced St Bonaventure into a tough shot, a 3-point shot contested like by 2 players. There's literally maybe like 1 or 2 seconds left, if that. Underneath the basket is Jameer Watkins and I can't even remember who, but a St Bonaventure player. The shot goes up. Jameer doesn't blocks out. He doesn't even go for the rebound. He's trying to take off to score. Not only does the clock not give you enough time, but in order for you to score, you have to get the rebound. Where are you going? The ball goes straight to St. Bonaventure's player and gets a second chance point at the buzzer to not only break momentum, but to bring them closer, to bring the lead closer. That's not the kind of way you want to go into a half in a game that you're struggling to score, and your energy is low-key flat. You know what I mean? Like, I think we did a lot of good things in the first half, but we still weren't playing true VCU style of basketball. I don't think we were as aggressive as we need to be in the press. A lot of times I felt like now this could be this could be what the coaches asked. But if not, then I don't think we were aggressive on the ball. I don't think we did enough of that to make them really work. I think St. Bonaventure did a really good job of rotating. They usually don't. If you look at St. Bonaventure in the past, they really don't play that many players. However, last night they did, and I'm not sure if that really helped them, but it seemed like it did. All right, so let's get to the second half. Now, the second half, VCU is usually a second half team. We're up. We usually take off with it, right? But that's not what happened. Usually we come out that locker room with some energy, with some fight, with some grit, with the idea in our head that, we have to turn it on. The second half, first half's over with, we got to turn it on. That's not what happened. Usually we make teams call the first time out. It's not what happened. We decided to be toddlers. We decided to be toddlers. Wait, what do you mean by it? Decided to be toddlers? We decided to play with our food. There's no way on God's green earth that St. Bonaventure is a better team than us. I don't see that whatsoever. I don't think they're a better coach team than us. I don't see that whatsoever. But when you allow a team to stick around that shouldn't be around, you allow them to gain confidence, especially in the second half, on your home court. You're the number 1 seed in the conference. You're playing with fire. You're playing with your food. And that's what we did. We played with our food. And it came back to bite us in the ass. Now, we definitely had some poor shooting throughout this game. I thought, and I gotta give St. Bonnie some credit. They did a really good job of trying to keep us out of the lane. Right? I think that was their purpose, just try to keep us out of the lane. Keep us out of the lane, double teams Brandon Johns, rotate out of that. And with our lack of pizzazz and crispness in our offense, they did a really good job of containing us. Now, I am not one to blame games on referees. And the reason, especially this game, because even with that, we had a chance to win this game, and we didn't do what we needed to do. However, the consistency, it's the consistency for me. Now, I missed the majority of this game due to family business. I missed the majority of this game, and I got there pretty late. But I recorded the game, and I went back and I watched every second of this game. And what I came to realize was, wow, they are really letting the guys play until they weren't. And it wasn't like, oh, you know, we're really hacking them and, you know, we deserve to get that foul called. But how the game was being played, the ticky-tack fouls shouldn't be called because they were barely calling the hard fouls. And then, out of nowhere, these ticky-tack fouls started being called. And it wasn't as if the calls were... It wasn't as if the calls were just all around bad. It was just the timing of these calls were horrible. And then the type of fouls they were calling was horrible. Horrible. But even with that, see, this is how I am. I understand that situations may be messed up. You may be in a messed up situation, right? But even with that, you have to say you're at a job. You're at a job and you feel like your boss is being unfair, treating you unjust, punishing you differently than other things, or not opening the same doors when you're producing the same amount. Certain things, you know what I'm saying, you may feel as if you're being done wrong. How I am with that is, yeah, I acknowledge that I'm being done wrong. However, I self-reflect on what I could have done better to prevent this situation, if there is something. And in this case, there is. Don't foul the damn jump shooter. Don't foul him. Don't make it look like as if you're fouling them. If there's any contact, there's no defense for us to complain about it outside the fact that the consistency isn't there. But if you foul, you foul. And we fouled jump shooters like 2 or 3 times in the second half. It made no sense to me. And it wasn't one of those BS, oh, you need a place to land foul. We were slapping hands, high-fiving people in the air. Now, with that, I think Brandon Johns and JJ were getting hacked and mauled by a bear down there. But we weren't getting a call. But you got to self-reflect on what you can do better. in those situations? How could we prevent the situation from getting in this position in the first place? And one thing for damn sure we can control is not fouling a jump shooter. That's defense 101. Right? Now, with that, I love JJ. I love his tenacity. I love that he stands up for his teammates. I even love that he talks shit. Excuse my language. However, it's time for him to read the room. To be honest with you, I think talking junk should be something that's a part of the game. It should be allowed in the game. What they do is they completely, it's like how they treat it as if talking stuff is like bullying somebody. You don't have to be bullied in basketball. You get your get back by how you play. So I think that trash talk should be allowed in the game. However, it's not. So if you're gonna do it to a point where a referee's not gonna see it, and do it to a point where he's definitely not gonna call a tech on you. This reminds me of a situation when I was in school and we were playing at George Mason, and I got fouled, and Larry Sanders stood up for me, but ended up getting attacked by it. You know what I'm saying? And on one hand, I'm happy as hell. My teammate stood up for me. And on the other hand, it hurt the team, the fact that he got the tech. You know what I mean? So it's one of them tricky situations. But this situation is, you got to control that. You got to know when to say something. You can't just sit there and talk stuff all the way up and down the court and think the ref's not going to do it. He's not going to call the tech. Remember, Vanderbilt. Jerry Stackhouse almost took a referee's head off because of this. He just looked back and went like this. You got to be smarter than that. Not saying you got to change who you are, but understand when you can say something. Not in front of a referee. Time, situation. You know what I mean? That type of stuff matters. And before I'm done, I want people to know, I want the players to know that every possession counts. If you really want to win something, you have to value each possession. You can't just sit there and give away stuff. Give away points. No. Every possession counts. Right? So, JJ, you got to be smarter than that. And not to harp on JJ again, but we're getting to the last few minutes, and it's a close game. It's probably St Bonaventure's up like 1 or something like that, or it's tied up, whatever. VCU has a chance to pull this game out. What are the 3 things you need to win a game under 4 minutes? I said it before. Anybody know? I'll tell you. Make your free throws. Play solid defense. And rebound the ball. Well, let me change that, because I'm gonna say solid defense. Rebound the ball is part of solid defense, but take good shots on the offensive end. Now, did we take good shots? I thought we did pretty good. We did pretty good on the shot selection. I thought we did. But solid defense, not by a chance. Again, JJ. They ran a play out of bounds play. I think they called a timeout. They set up a play, ran it. They had some action with the guards screening and going back door and cleaning out the backside. I don't know if JJ was aware of this. However, we talked about how you guard bigs that aren't that mobile, that can't out athleticism you, out athletic you. Vinny, big body. How does he score? Angles. They've been going to Vinny down the stretch. They just kept going to Vinny, kept going to Vinny, kept going to Vinny. What does JJ do? He tries to 3/4 front the post on the entry, completely removing himself from between the basket of him and Vinny. Just don't do that. The shot clock is on your side. We need to get a stop. If you don't get to the point where you completely fronting him and pushing him back, you have to accept the fact that he can catch the ball, and you're going to have to play solid defense from there. What you did was you played into his hands by trying to 3/4 front. They found the angle to pass the ball in. Easy layup. And it happened twice in a time where it couldn't happen. Now, mind you, Jada probably think, well, I needed help. I should have got help. You have to understand the game, though, bro. Regardless if you have help or not, you can't just depend on your help. What about you? Stay between your man and the basket. You know what I mean? And that's just a learning experience. And we got to understand these like outside of Shriver and Brandon Johns and Ace, you know, and probably Jay Nunn, as far as experience goes, we're a very, very young team. Very, very young team. So I think we'll get better at that. Us fighting for a win is never going to be an issue, but executing late in the game is definitely something that we're going to have to work on. So we didn't do that, and then when it came down to making free throws, we go to the line, missed the front end of a 1-on-1, then come down and split free throws. So we left 3 points on the board. We lost by 3. VCU loses the game at home to St Bonaventure, 61-55. Part of that is because we lacked on defensive discipline, not just in the post. It wasn't just JJ. St. Bonaventure shot. Let's see. They were shooting 3 for 11. They were shooting 3 for 11 at half. But it ended up shooting 47% from the 3-point line for the game. 47%. It's going to be, and with that, we shot 12.5% from the 3-point line. It's going to be hard to beat a team like that. Seriously, it's going to be hard to beat a team and you allow them to shoot 47% from the 3. And you shoot 12%. 12. And then from the free throw line, we shoot 55.6%. That's your game right there. Even with the mistakes, that's your game right there. We literally left a 20. We left 24 points, 22 points on the board. Really, but it say remove the 3 point. We left 8 points on the board. We make 16 of our 18, 15 of our 18. We win the game. 14 of 18. We win the game. That's the game right there. Of course, we didn't do certain things. We didn't come out with the energy we needed to be successful. We didn't run offense crisply the way we should have. We didn't impose our will on them the way we could have. We allowed them to hang around. But shoot, 55% from the free throw line, 12% from the 3-point line, while allowing them to shoot 47% from the 3-point line and 73% from the free throw. That's setting you up for failure right there. We had more turnovers. That we turned them over 10 times to our 12. Now you tell me if that's VCU basketball. I'll wait. It's not. So let's get into some of these stats. For St Bonaventure, Jan Farrell, freshman. He's going to be somebody to watch. 15 points, 7 rebounds. I don't know if he'll be the man, but he's definitely going to have an impact of, somebody that's going to bring consistency for them. They're going to be a dangerous team if they can get some momentum and start clicking towards tournament time, because they have plenty of options that can score the ball. Moses Flowers also chipped in 15 points. Venning was shot 50% from the floor, 13 points, 2 steals, 3 rebounds. Now for VCU, Ace Baldwin, 15 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds. Jalen DeLoach, a really good game. Just has to tighten up some of these screws. Some of these loose ends, I should say. 12 points, 12 rebounds, 1 block, 1 steal, 1 tech. You just got to tighten some of this stuff up, man. Be savvy in your trash talk. Be who you are. You got to be who you are, but be savvy in your trash talk. There's a way to do it without getting attacked. Be smart. So moving forward, this isn't the end of the world. I honestly think this loss, in some way, may be a good thing. I know for the net, it sucks. Not a good loss. At home, not a good loss at all. But I look across the college basketball landscape, and everybody's losing games they shouldn't. Everybody. It's not just a VCU thing. However, we need all the wins we can get. But I've told a lot of people, when you have so much success, it's easy to fall in love. Well, I'll put it this way: it's easy to drink the Kool-Aid. This is what Coach Smart told us. He said, "Hey, I know everybody loves you right now. Everybody thinks you guys are the men, but don't drink the Kool-Aid. Don't get comfortable. Understand what got you here. You know what I'm saying? Understand it's us versus everybody. You have to have that mentality all the time. As soon as you start letting people into the circle, things go astray." So in a weird way, this may have been a good loss, or hopefully it is. Hopefully we can learn from that, because Tuesday we have Davidson at Davidson, and they're gonna want their get back. The fans are gonna want their get back. So I imagine their house being packed. College men with their shirt off and painting with body paint. Ruckus crowd. And we have to get back on track. They want to get back, and we have to get back on track. We have to refocus and don't repeat the same mistakes. Yes, we beat Davidson before. That was before. This is now. They just lost to St. Louis at home. You think they want to drop 2 in a row? Hell no. They're trying to get back into the win column too. And in front of their home crowd, they can be juiced up. They can be ready to go. You got to stay dangerous, because anybody can kill you. Shout out to G. Perico. You got to stay dangerous. I always had the mindset that, we could lose this game. Stay on edge. Now it's time to get back on the horse, start riding again. Watch party Tuesday at Barrio, 6 to 9. Happy hour specials, more food selections. Hope everybody that can make it can come out. Get there early. There's seats, but you can get some good seats if you get there early. Thank you for letting me cook, and until next time, peace.